Today we're taking a look at Sony's 10 to 18mm f4 E-Mount. So this little zoom is a 10 to 18mm, which on an E-mount system is going to be an equivalency of 15 to 27mm. It also has a 7-blade circular aperture with an f4 constant aperture with a range of 4 to 22. Also with this lens you get a minimum focus distance of only 0.82 inches or 0.25 meters, which is really great for those really handy close-up shots. It weighs in at only 8 ounces or 227 grams. It's extremely sharp for this price point, and it also has lens-based OSS. So if you happen to be using a camera that doesn't have in-body image stabilization, this will definitely help you out. The 10 to 18 is also equipped with spherical lens elements, which will dramatically reduce aberrations while also keeping this lens extremely small and lightweight. And I'm not exaggerating when I'm talking about small and lightweight. In comparison to most other lenses, this is an extremely small lens considering its focal range. And when paired up with any of Sony's extremely small mirrorless cameras, you can expect pretty great things. It doesn't oversize the camera whatsoever, and even though the camera lens does extend outside of the barrel, it's not that bad at all. So even at its maximum focal range, you're not going to get some extremely large lens. Now, as far as the build quality and the overall fit and finish, I think this lens is perfectly suited for Sony's E-Mount lineup. It feels very much just like the 50mm build quality and the 35mm build quality, so excellent in my opinion. The 10 to 18 also comes equipped with a 62 diameter filter thread size. It's also important to note here that on this lens, the threads themselves do not rotate, so it's very handy if you happen to be using a polarizing filter. Hey there, okay, so I wanted to do just a quick test for all of you vloggers out there. I know that a lot of people like to use these smaller style cameras for their vlogging purposes, and at the 10mm setting on the Sony A6300, I measured this wall, which is weird, but at the same time I wanted to make it look semi-scientific. This wall is about 12 feet long, and that is from corner to corner. So you can see that we got a little bit of extra on each of the sides there, so maybe 13-ish feet or so. I also measured the distance of the lens to this wall, which is about 5 feet. So in very unscientific, proven terms, for about every 5 feet of distance that you get away from your subject, you can expect anywhere between 12 and 13 feet of actual viewing angle, which makes it extremely good for getting into extremely tight spaces. The only smaller room that I have in my place is my bathroom, and I'm not filming in there, so this is just going to have to do. I also think that it's extremely good, especially when you've got a small, maybe shotgun style microphone on top of your camera, like I do right now. I've got the Rode Video Micro sitting on top of the A6300, and I'm live viewing my recording with my phone. So I think it's a really cool setup for those very small, tight spaces, or when you need to be really close to your microphone so that you can pick up good audio. So now it does make the picture look a little bit weird, and most people are not huge fans of the way selfies actually look on a human being's face, because it kind of makes you look sort of bug-eyed, a little bit bulbous or whatever, but I am literally standing almost right on top of this camera. I'm only about, tip of my nose is only about 8 to 10 inches or so away from the front element of this lens. So you can quite literally be right on top of it and still have everything framed in. It's honestly pretty damn awesome. Also, one more thing to consider is that if you don't like the look of this extremely bulbous style, you know, lens perspective, you can zoom it in to the 18. Now I gotta back up a little bit. So the audio is going to get a little bit worse, but the picture overall is much more compressed, so it makes you look a lot more natural. But I'm still only about 1.5 feet away from the lens of the camera. So this lens, especially for extremely small and tight spaces, is an excellent way to go if you do a lot of FaceTime style videos where you're in the camera all the time, you're not really sure where you're going to be and all that kind of stuff, and it's a hell of a lot shorter and a lot lighter than the 18-105. But it's also a very nice complement to the 18-105 lens. So yes, I absolutely love the combination of these two lenses together. The 10-18 and the 18-105 in combination with the Sony A6300 is currently my favorite setup. I love these two lenses with that camera. It gives me all the range that I could possibly want for almost every situation that I can potentially dream up that I would use on a regular day-to-day basis. Now, it's not going to cover everything, obviously, but the size of the 10-18 is roughly half the size of the 18-105. So I find this very small, very light, very compact setup extremely good for most of my video needs. Not to mention good, consistent image quality for my photographic needs. So first of all, in my opinion, I do think that there is just a little bit of corner and edge softness at 10 millimeters. I've heard other people say the exact same thing. I think it might be, for the most part, very subjective and very minimal overall. Some people are probably going to be, really perturbed by the fact that it has that, but I think that as far as the aperture is concerned, that's at f4. I think that it does get quite a bit better if you stop it down to f, say, like 5.6. Now, once you finally get all the way into 18 millimeters, the edge softness is almost completely eliminated. So if you stop your aperture down just a bit while in 10 millimeter mode, you should be pretty good to go, but you won't have to do that at all if you want to eliminate the slight edge softness when you're at 18 millimeters. And it does get gradually better all the way through the focal range. Now, obviously, one of the biggest reasons that most people are going to be interested in this lens is for those great big, wide, awesome panoramic style images where you can get these large landscapes or cityscapes or whatever, grab a lot of detail, grab a lot of the scene, and not have to be burdened by such large and bulky equipment. And I think that this particular lens does an excellent job of doing just that. The images are very sharp, they're very clean, there's very little aberration, very little distortion. The whole combination of this lens with the Sony A6300 in my case was an absolute dream to work with. So as far as bokeh is concerned with this lens, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very buttery, very creamy, very soft, very elegant, very pleasing to the eyeballs. A lot of people think that you got to have a f2.8 or an f1.4 or something like that in order to get really beautiful depth of field, but that's just not the case. In most cases, f4 is plenty enough depth of field to get what you need to in focus and to really blow that background out, and I found this lens extremely well suited for that. So overall, I absolutely love this lens. I think that it is absolutely perfect for so many different types of applications. The image quality is fantastic. The size and the weight is exactly what I'm looking for in a camera lens setup. I love the lightweight, and the fact that it's not any bigger than the 1.8 50 millimeter just makes this all the better. So if you guys happen to like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share the video on the internet with your friends and family, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. At any rate, guys, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one. Peace!